All right, everybody. Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Russell, the incredibly talented actor extraordinaire, Bruce Thomas. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you.
Let me introduce you. This is my cool, outrageous man about town co-host, who's also my significant other. This is Ron Russell.
No, we're not a significant other.
Okay, he's my husband.
We're married. We're married. You know, if I was a significant other, I wouldn't be here. I'd be out on the town.
Yeah.
But since I'm married, you know, the old ball and chain, you got to sit around.
So he's Ron.
I'm Ron, and you're
Hi, Ron.
You're a good-looking guy. I got a girl for you if you're single.
I will be soon. I'm reasonably
Okay, listen. Adrienne Barbeau, friend of mine.
I've worked with Adrienne.
Okay, so you know Adrienne. She said to me she would like to meet a nice fella, not to get married, just to have a relationship, to go out and have fun. So let me know when you're free, and I'll call Adrienne. And Adrienne's gorgeous. I mean, come on, you should be so lucky to get Adrienne Barbeau. She's a beauty. And
I worked with her on Halo, and she was very talented on top of it. So.
And
oh, absolutely. And she's sweet too.
But when she works, she's a little different than when she's social. When she's social, she's very much the mother and the house spun broad. I love her. I think she's a
Hold on, we got to finish introducing him. So
I fixed him up. He's happy.
Okay. So we have a chat room full of people, about 8 countries represented. So say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Hi, everybody.
And also
I don't see the chat room. Can I?
Yeah, I don't think you can see it.
Okay.
Actually, if you go to the part where it says, I don't know if you can see the chat thing that says comments, you could click that, and I think it'll come from YouTube.
There we are. Yes,
but,
and also, our show has over 5 million viewers, so be nice.
Wow.
I clean it up for some of them, but they like us dirty. They say, we love Ron when you fight with Jimmy and you curse and stuff, because we have common people in our audience, and common people like common shows. But we'll clean it up nice for you.
Now, hold on. So first of all,
wait. You're going to be Adrienne's boyfriend, so we have to respect you.
Yeah, so no, we would respect you anyway. So first of all, you guys, you can follow Bruce on Twitter. He's Real Bruce Thomas, and it's real REEL, like a movie reel. Bruce Thomas. And on Instagram, he's Mr. Bruce Thomas. And I have to say, like, I don't really get excited by a lot of people coming on, because we've been doing this. We're on the air for 13 years.
Wow.
Doing this.
And so we're the #1 show for 3 years in a row.
Web show, yes.
So get a load of that.
So we actually so we bring 2 famous people on every week. So we work in movies and stuff. So we get to meet a lot of people. But I'm excited for, because Legally Blonde is one of my absolute favorite movies like ever. And anytime I'm in a bad mood, I watch it, just for like a pick-me-up. And since you're the UPS guy and you fall in love with Jennifer Coolidge, and it's such a great story, do you have anything you can tell, like some kind of like a quick little story you can tell us about Legally Blonde, just for all the fans that are watching? Because I don't know if that's their favorite, but that's mine.
Yeah, it's cool because
I'm going to punch you. My ears are breaking.
Go.
You're loud.
Okay, go.
It's
wait, hang on. Could you lean forward more so they could see more of your handsome face?
I'm leaning it forward. You want to get in
not like you're giving head.
No, that's good.
Not like you're giving head to all the women. But,
oh boy.
Give us your head.
No, you're fine. Just like yeah,
boy. Now we got a glamour boy. Now we got a Rock Hudson on the set.
Very glamorous. Yeah, that's me.
You're a very handsome man. Don't pull that shit.
No, he knows it.
No, he's going to play that innocent role.
No,
I didn't know.
No, tell us a story. I want to hear something.
I don't have a mirror.
No, he knows.
Of course he knows. He's good looking.
He was in Models Inc., which, by the way, Models Inc. is another show that I loved in the, like, I think that was in, I don't know, that was like in the mid-90s, I think. And you're only on one episode of it, but I watched all the Models Inc.'s because, like, I was a fashion designer back then, and I really liked all of that stuff. So that's really the first time I saw you. And then I've kind of followed all along, because you have a great body of work. I was a huge fan of Kyle XY. And but Legally Blonde is my favorite, so you got to just tell us something.
Movie too. It was a decent movie.
Legally Blonde.
Yeah, I don't know why the junk they make today isn't as good. You know, no, seriously, it was done well. It was done like a studio movie. You know, a soundstage studio movie. This reality shit and this travel. I mean, I'm in film all the time, and we do it in people's houses. It's like a whole movie. It's like Christmas with a horror person.
Well, it was to get back to the story. I was doing jury duty on a Friday, and I got out of jury duty early, and I happened to check in with my agent that day. Didn't have anything going on. I said, "Well, fortunately, I just they threw the case out. I'm out. He said, well, if you're out, can you get over to Universal real quick? Because there's a guy named Robert Luketic who's doing a film. It's just a little indie film. I'd like to see you if you're available. So I went over there, read the scene, got the sides real quick, and just looked them over a couple times. Went in there and read with Robert. Walked out. Felt pretty decent about it. On my way to the front door of the building, somebody ran behind me and said, hold on a second. Are you available Monday? And I said, yeah. He said, you're in. Come to the table read. That's it. That was the easiest job I've ever got in my life.
See, and you got a table read. That in horror movies is like never going to happen. You don't get rehearsals, table reads, or marks. You just go and you walk around like an idiot and you talk and you say things and they follow you. Now, listen to me. The guy or the girl that was in your court, did you say guilty or not guilty?
Oh, I think they threw out the case, if I remember correctly. I think they just, it was one of those things where they just pled guilty or something because they saw the jury was about to be chosen. And then
so it was a waste of your time.
Totally, yeah.
I hate that.
So hold on, go ahead.
Then when I got to the table read, I saw Jennifer sitting there, and I had known Jennifer back when I was in New York. I had spent 8 years in New York City and working in the nightclubs and restaurants and stuff. And so Jennifer used to come in as a young comedian who was doing improv and stuff with the Groundlings, I believe, or some place that was doing stand-up in New York. And so we knew each other sort of briefly back in New York. And it was such a pleasant thing to see that we were paired up in the film. It was great.
It's very nice working with friends. I work with friends and I enjoy it a lot. Now, 68 years ago, I started in clubs in New York on stage. Imagine 60, I can say 68 years ago. That's so sad. But what club?
He's 80.
Feels like 68 years for me too.
Well, what clubs did you work in? I mean, you came way after me, but
I was in 1983, 84, 85 at like in my mid 24, I think I was 24 years old. I was the head doorman at Limelight nightclub.
Oh, we used to go there.
Yep.
So yeah, I was the douchebag outside that
didn't let anybody in.
Didn't let anybody in.
Oh, you were the guy I punched out. I remember.
Oh, I was punched out quite often. There was a lot of dangerous shit.
I betcha.
Also, what was kind of cool was Chaz Palminteri was my bouncer.
Oh, that's so cool.
Is that a movie for real?
That's real. For 2 years. It was before. Chaz used to stand there all night long, and we used to play games with people. He used to pull out big wads of cash every once in a while, so everybody in the crowd that was waiting would get the idea and then start pulling out cash to give us, and then go in and pay again on top of it. But so we would do that, but then he would start talking. He would tell us stories all night long, these Bronx Tale stories. It was fantastic.
Chaz is wonderful. He is totally a hitman, but not really. I mean, he was born to be a wise guy. Totally born to be a wise guy.
Totally.
I mean, he could never be anything else.
And you're right. A huge-hearted guy, super sweetheart of a guy.
I know him from friends of mine in New York, and I was at I forgot where, a club one night, private club, and Chaz was there, and he for about 20 minutes he took over the table, and we were peeing in our pants because he has a funny delivery. Yeah, his delivery is not a comic.
Well, he's the New York guy, and he's always telling stories like that.
He delivers a joke like a hitman. I can't explain it. He's just a fun guy.
The other bouncer that I had too. This is funny that you brought up the club scene, because the other bouncer I had at Limelight was Dolph Lundgren.
Oh wow! How cool is that?
Dolph. We know him too.
And his name then was Hans. He chose Dolph.
And
we didn't know him as Hans, though.
He was dating Grace Jones at the time.
My daughter, Leslie, won Power's Top Model of the Year at Limelight. And she walked that big runway, and I was so excited. It's the first time I ever saw my kid do anything like that. But I used to hang out. I went to Shirley, I'm getting old. My good friend who I love. The crazy one that thinks she's from another planet. Shirley MacLaine.
Oh
my God. Shirley MacLaine's birthday party. That was a trip. I had to tell you, that was a trip.
So actually too, though, because I'm a publicist is how I support myself. And so Grace Jones's brother, Chris Jones, is like one of our clients.
He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy. So
Cool
it's a
guy.
small world and 6 degrees of separation.
Hey,
So,
can he get his sister to come on our show?
oh, I don't know.
Did you ever ask him?
No.
Well, why don't you ask him?
I
love
It's
Grace.
funny talking about Chaz Palminteri too, because he just messaged me on Twitter because I asked him if he'd like to come on the show the same way I asked you, and so he sent me his email.
Oh, Chaz?
Yeah.
Chaz is a fun guy. The restaurant that we were in was the guy died. He had a brain tumor. What was his? It was, I forgot.
Anyway, I want to do some bragging for Bruce real quick before we keep talking. So first of all, as you guys have seen him in a ton of things, one of the big things, Kyle XY, was a great show. It was only on 2 seasons, right? Was
Three.
it 3 seasons? It was a great show. I loved it. Some of the people he's worked with, not including some of the ones we'll talk about: Kevin Costner, Bruce Greenwood, Carrie Ann Moss, Luke Wilson, Linda Gray, Reese Witherspoon, Selma Blair, Victor Garber is one of my favorite, Jennifer Coolidge, Ethan Embry, Annabeth Gish, Tyler how do you pronounce his name? Hecklin? He's Superman, you guys, on TV. Bruce Campbell, Sally Field, Regina King. There's a whole bunch more because I have them written next to the little things that he's been in. But some of the TV series you've seen him on: Weed, CSI Miami, Bones, Beverly Hills 90210, which is a big one for me, Star Trek, Enterprise, Diagnosis Murder, Desperate Housewives, NCIS, NCIS LA. And you also are in a shit pot of video games and animated series, and you're like in everything Batman.
Yeah. Well, I actually played Batman on for 3 years in a row, actually, on commercials for OnStar.
Oh, you're working all of this work. You must have a lot of money.
Oh, wait a minute,
I'm not finished. So when you take Adrian out to dinner, take her to a nice place. You can afford it.
So hang on, go back. So I didn't understand what that was. So OnStar is like the car service thing, right?
OnStar, yeah, these were commercials. These were national commercials, and it was a big deal because DC Comics had to cast me. Andrew Davis, director of The Fugitive, directed the first one, and then Vincent Ward did the second batch of them. But we did 9 commercials total, and I got to work with Michael Goff, the Alfred. I wore Michael Keaton's suit. It was a huge deal. I got to ride in the Batmobile, and it was really cool. It was the era between Clooney and Bale.
I think that's awesome.
Now that I look at your face closer, because I'm having cataract surgery tomorrow in my right eye. I swear to God, no joke. And I don't see too hot. But now that you come closer, I know your face and I know who you are. I've seen you work. You're good.
He's been in things with all kinds. He did a movie called Just Desserts.
No, I know.
With Lauren Holly. We're friends with her dad.
I know who.
Brenda Vaccaro. I know, but I'm bringing it up because it matches.
I love Brenda. I was on Sarah with Brenda for 14 episodes when she did Sarah on at Universal. I love Brenda. Brenda Vaccaro is my.
Wait, go back though. I want to talk about Batman because.
Wait a minute. Did you love Brenda?
Didn't work with her personally. I wasn't on set with her at the same time.
Oh, what a
shame
that is. She's a sweetie pie.
He also did a couple of episodes of Bold and Beautiful, and we've literally had like 40 people from Bold and Beautiful on the cast. And the one we like, do you know Sean Kanan?
No. Soaps are the hardest working actors in show business, I think, on soaps. And people make fun of them, and they joke about soap work and how it's melodramatic. Well, that's just the way it's written. But but it's the hardest work I've ever done.
Wait a minute. I was talking to Tristan Rogers, you know who he is, and I said to him, I have such trouble at my age now with lines. And Tristan is maybe 5 years younger than I am. And he said, well, I'm still pretty good. He said, I could still remember 40 pages. Yeah. And I looked at him. I said, what the fuck are you, crazy? 40 pages.
Now get this. It's 25 to 35. Yeah, that 40 pages is a lot. But when I was working, 25 to 35 pages every single day because it's a new show every day. But not only that, it's a very stylized way of writing. And you're saying basically the same information tomorrow that you said today, but it's kind of scrambled it up and make it sound a little different so it doesn't sound completely repetitive. But it's so that the fans at home can catch up if they missed a few shows. So you're basically regurgitating the same thing, saying it different ways. It's very difficult.
Well, I think I've been asked, I'm not sure yet, but I've been asked to be on Studio City, which is the new major big shot soap. And I'm a little nervous because if they start throwing 35 pages at me, they're going to be very unhappy with this actor. Because
not only that, that once you get the first take under your belt, well, if you mess up the first time, I should say, they start looking at their watches and going, okay, you got one more. If you don't get one more, we're going to move on without you.
Right.
Yeah, so now was that
really
hard?
nice. Makes you feel good.
Was that hard for you? And do you still have trouble remembering now that you're like not as young as you were when you did Bold and the Beautiful? Do you still have trouble like we're learning lines, or it's still real simple for you?
It's learning lines for me is simple. Once you do the work, once you apply what you're trying to do in the script with it, once you apply your intention for every single line and every single beat and every single moment, the words kind of lock in. That's why you have to do the work. You can't just memorize the lines and then go to set and then just kind of walk through it. You have to do the work.
Yeah. I remember all of my lines 2 days after we finished shooting. I do.
Yeah.
Which is like
I could tell you all my lines I shot last week, but a day before I couldn't give you one. Now figure that one out. It's called.
So I picked out those certain things that you've been in because we have a lot of friends who've been in them. Like you did a movie called Raise with Zoe Bell, who's a friend of mine. Adrian Wilkinson's been on our show. Zoe Bell's been on our show.
I love both of them.
Doug Jones has been on our show.
I love Doug. Love Doug to pieces.
Is Adrian not the new Audrey Hepburn or what?
Yeah. Adrian is a lovely human being.
I adore her. She is absolutely the classiest broad I've ever met.
We went to a red carpet like event, and everybody and all the girls were dressed in like little teeny skirts and stuff.
They look like hookers.
They all looked like hookers, and it was like
they had their tits jacked up, hanging.
And everybody was going to.
Wait, they had clip covers on for skirts.
I know.
My story. You always steal.
I'm not stealing your story.
That's my story.
So anyway, we went there and we so everybody. It was like a networking thing where everybody networks with each other. I
commented to Jimmy, they all look like hookers, and then suddenly there was this magnificent girl with her hair up in a twist and in a red gown, elegant. And I said, now that broad's got class. And we walked over to her and I began speaking to her and we fell in great friendship right away. Now
she's fabulous. Continue. No, she's fabulous. And
always elegant, always sophisticated.
Every time we see her, she's all dressed up like a Hollywood movie star.
Yeah, she's got that class.
Audrey Hepburn, I'm telling you. She's like another Audrey Hepburn. Did you ever meet Audrey Hepburn?
No. Never did. I met a lot of people, but I've never met Audrey.
I know she's one I never met. I never met Grace Kelly either, who I love both of them so much. They were my favorites, Grace and Audrey.
But Zoe's a special person too.
Zoe is awesome.
Do I know Zoe?
No, you don't. No, I do. She was on the show before you were on it, and she's also. I have a video series called Jimmy Stars the Shit, and she's like on it, like saying, "Hey, I'm Zoe Bell, and Jimmy Stars the Shit," because I used to promote myself in unusual ways.
So wait, I gotta get dirt here.
Okay.
So you're married now, right?
So heading towards.
But you're
ending it, yes.
Yeah, but
now, legally I'm married, yes.
So is she going to clean you out or what?
Oh, don't talk about that.
Well, I got to know for Adrian. She doesn't want to go out with a guy that's broke. I mean, she wants to go out with a guy that's going to have fun.
I'll have fun.
He doesn't look like he really needs any help getting
I don't think the courts do that anymore.
All the girls in the chat room are dying over him.
Wait, I don't think the courts do that anymore where they clean a man out. They stopped that crap a long time ago. Now they make it pretty fair, I think.
Well, it's a 50-50 state.
If not, we could always call Chaz and he could have her killed. And then you don't have to pay anything. Right? There you go.
The ladies in the chat room, by the way, absolutely love you. They're all talking about how handsome and how wonderful you are.
Do you have children?
I do, too.
What kind?
What kind? Human beings.
No, I mean boys or
good answer.
I meant boys or girls.
I have one of each. My daughter's Isabella's 25 and my son is 21. Nick.
You got old kids.
Now, did they follow in your footsteps?
No. Nick is a musician. Isabella is an art history major and working with some high-end. So she's starting a company of her own right now.
Good for her.
I love that name. I almost named my daughter Isabella because Isabella in Italian means she's beautiful. That's what Isabella means in Italian. And that's a lovely name. Is she beautiful?
She is.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, you're good looking. Was your wife good looking or is she a dog?
She's beautiful. No, she's beautiful.
So then the kids come out beautiful.
Yeah.
My kids are beautiful too. My one daughter looks like Michelle Pfeiffer or Grace Kelly, and the other one looks like what's the name? The one that was in the bus that ran away. That we love her, the brunette.
Oh, Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock.
That's hilarious.
I'm old. I forget names.
That's okay. So let's talk a little bit about
I'm cute.
how video games. So how did you get into video games?
Wow.
And do you do just voices in them, or do you just do voices in them, or do you actually like, are you like a character on a green screen where you have to like move around and fight and shit?
Well, it's not green screen. It's a thing called motion capture,
Okay.
where I wear the suit with all, you're going to love this, all the balls all over it.
Yes.
It's great technology. And I got into it about 10 years ago. I was in a bar. Imagine that.
No,
in LA.
Shocking.
And it was, and I was hanging out, and a guy came up to me. His name is Jamie Mortellaro. He's a big voice casting director, and a director in his own right. Cast some big games, and he was casting a huge one at the time. And he said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well," and at the time I had just started wanting to get into voiceover work, and so I had a whole setup at home with microphone and stuff. So he said, "Hey, I've got something coming up in the summer you're absolutely perfect for." Anyway, gave me his card. Long story short, months went by. I didn't hear from him, the usual. Then I get a call out of the blue. "Come down, read this, send it in." I did. A couple more months went by, nothing. Finally get another call. "Come down to the studio down in Santa Monica, and some people from Microsoft want to meet you." So it's down to 20 of us or so up for this lead character in Halo, who's the new Halo at the time, which is one of the biggest video franchises in history.
Yes.
And I got cast. So I ended up doing a year and a half's worth of motion capture and did the voice. But then when Microsoft released the game to some young 12, 13, 14-year-old gamers, they had gotten used to the voice that had always done Master Chief. And his name is Steve Downs, and he's fantastic. Great guy, great performer, iconic voice. Long story short, because they didn't want to scare the fans away by hearing my voice instead of his, we ended up making it a two-part performance where I do all the physical capture of the character. So everything you see him do, I do. And Steve comes in later and lays his voice over what I've done. The performance that I've given, he sort of matches that with his voice.
Now, is it true they really pay well? Because I know a couple of voiceover people, like Barbara Rosenblatt, who does
That's
all
different.
the
That's
audio
books, and he's doing games. His is way better.
But she makes a fortune with audio books. Now, I heard that these games, they pay very well. I'd like to get in one if I could.
They do. They pay well.
They do pay well, right? They're not like some of the movies.
So hold on, let me brag a little bit. So here he's in Halo 4. You guys, if you're a video game person, Halo 5, Guardians, Batman, Hush, Lightning Returns, Final Fantasy, I think that's 13. Gears of War, Judgment. I mean, those are like every one of those is like, you're not in like any like hokey, like little crappy games. Those are all really big ones.
All big ones. Yeah. We just had a brand new Gears of War game called Gears Tactics, which I'm one of 3 lead characters in. It just came out in April. I've got another one that I'm finishing up that I can't mention, but it's another big one. And I'm the lead character in that. And then, well, a brand new Halo just was announced. It won't be out till the fall, but Halo Infinite is the new one. So yeah, things are cooking.
So do you have a different agent for that kind of work, or is it the same agent that does everything?
Different agent. I have an agent that's exclusively voiceover.
Okay, that's hang on, let me finish. Do you know TJ Storm?
I know who he is. Yeah.
Okay, because he's a pretty good friend of ours too, and he does all that motion capture. I don't know if he's in video games, but he does it in all the movies. He's like the Predator and Godzilla and.
Yeah, no, he's doing video games too.
Well, Rudy Tooty for you. You're such a big shot. Listen, how far do you live from Studio City?
I used to live in Studio City. That I no longer have that house for obvious reasons, but I'm now in Woodland Hills.
Woodland Hills. So you're not far from Adrian because she lives in Studio City.
Okay, you gotta quit with the Adrian thing.
Mind your fucking business, Jimmy. If I get them together, you know how nice it is. I love Adrian, and he's a nice guy. They'd be nice together. So he's going to be lonely now without a wife.
No, he's not.
He's going to go out with all these 21-year-old broads with big tits. And
I'm doing fine.
Yeah, he's not having any problems.
No, because now you're forced to go out with all these young sluts.
No, go easy. He doesn't know you.
I feel like I know him. He knows Chaz.
I feel like I know him already.
Right. If you like Chaz, you're going to like me because Chaz and I have big mouths the same from Brooklyn. He's the Bronx. I'm Brooklyn.
So hang on, you guys. Here's
wait, seriously now, kidding around. What sort of a woman would you look for if you were out there shopping?
I'm numb right now. I don't. Not even on my menu.
I was divorced from a woman. I was married 16 years, a big mistake. Although 2 children came from it, which live here in Palm Springs, and they're wonderful. But I know the numbness that is. And it doesn't last long. You get horny and then the numbness sort of goes away. What do you mean stop that? What are you blushing? What are you, a big girl?
No, I don't.
Guys, it's man talk.
I know it's different though, because like he does, when you bring people on here that we like hang out with and they're famous and then they come on here.
Buddy.
I know.
You shouldn't be. We're looking we're
blushing, Sherman Oaks.
Looking in Sherman Oaks. You're next door in Woodland Hills. We'll hang out. We'll play golf.
I do play golf.
He doesn't.
I don't. I play.
So you guys, another
I play
movie.
With myself a lot.
Another person that he's been in the in movies. You guys, he was in the movie Hall Pass, a great comedy with Owen Wilson, Jason Sudeikis, Christina Applegate, Jenna Fisher. I mean, do you have like a project that's one of your favorite, or one that you think put
you work with everybody I love,
or one that put you like on the map, because you have such a great body of work. You're one actor who hasn't had to do a lot of shitty horror movies. You got Army of Darkness.
Excuse me, what's wrong with shitty horror movies?
Army of Darkness. Army of Darkness, and I think I saw another one about a babysitter that was a horror movie. Maybe
Babysitter Wanted. Yeah, that was a unique little movie where I kidnap babysitters, young girls, and make them feed raw meat to my 6-year-old son, and then I kill them.
I know Dawn in the chat room is saying that she loved it.
And I know that you are dying to get back into horror films for $112 a day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice payday.
Actually, Dawn told me to tell you she loves that movie. She thought it was fabulous.
Thank you, Dawn.
Do you watch horror movies at all?
No, I've got a couple of friends who have a company. Well, Elijah Wood and Daniel Noah started a company, Spectre Vision, and they do some really high-end horror films. They're really, really into it. I never really, that wasn't my thing. I appreciate them, but it's not something I seek out.
It's not my thing, and I don't even like them. And I'm in them. I don't like arms being torn off, like, in the big friggin' rat that I'm in, a huge rat the size of a Volkswagen, supposed to rip us to pieces. And I don't really care for that kind of stuff. I think it's bad for young kids to see all that gore and blood. It makes them very numb to people being harmed and hurt.
So hold on, because I'm like an 80s person. That's why I keep bringing.
Wait a minute. Now I'll never work another horror film again. I guarantee you that.
No,
you're hear what I just said.
No, you're in them anyway. You love it. So give us some kind of scoop. So how was it? You were in, I think, 4 episodes of Beverly Hills 90210. That was the good one, not the remake that they did.
Oh, that was fun. That was the good old days. The storyline I had was I was Michelle Phillips's love interest.
Okay.
At Mamas and Papas fame, the blonde from the Mamas and Papas.
Yes,
I know exactly.
Fantastic woman and partier.
Gorgeous woman.
Yeah, and so I got to make out with her.
Wasn't she Steve's mom, like Ian Ziering's mom or something?
Something like I
think she was Ian Ziering's mom, I think.
And then so Tiffany Amber Thiessen played her daughter, and then in the show I ended up also making out with her. So I was a cat.
Oh, yeah, I love Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
What a pity they forced you to make out with Michelle. I mean, I would have said no. That's not going to be in the script.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, making out with Michelle is really hard work. You son of a bitch. I mean, give me a break.
That was the good old days.
Actually,
Tiffany
you bet
Amber they were good old days. Kissing Michelle, they were damn good old days.
We were actually at NAMM before all the COVID thing in January of this year, and we were throwing an event. And Brian Austin Green was there, and so we got to hang out and talk to Brian Austin Green. And I'm just a huge Beverly Hills 90210 fan, and I always have been. All those Melrose Place, all those trashy soap operas from the 80s, I love all of them.
Selling
a gossiping girl.
I am, though, because I like soap operas, and in the daytime I couldn't watch them. So like those nighttime, so Dynasty, all that stuff, Dallas, all that stuff was fun for me. I liked all of it.
Anyway, you said that you kissed Michelle. That was a big deal. Well, I got you beat. I got a kiss from Sophia Loren in a movie I was in.
Oh.
So there you go. On my cheek, of course.
I don't know if it's beat. It's two completely different kind of
yes.
women.
Well, and yours was on the lips and his was on the cheek.
She kissed me on the cheek. But I
have a Sophia Loren story as well. So when I was about 20,
her. Say nice about her. I love her.
Oh, it's great. It's great. I was very young. I was 21 years old. I happened to be friends with Drew Barrymore and her mom it was one of the very first films I ever did. I just happened to get really close with those to. And when I came out to California one time, I was 21 years old. They said, we're going to go have lunch at Sophia Loren's house. I went, well, so I got there. Carlo Ponti was there. We had a couple other people that showed up. We had lunch, beautiful, beautiful place in Santa Barbara. Lunch. After lunch, I sat down, and Sophia was really into, I don't know if you remember this, but she was really into reading poems and stuff like that. So she sat me down, and she showed me her poem, and there was a bunch of asterisks on the inside of like little lines that formed asterisks, all little stars, she called them. And she said, that showed me, and that shows you that I was born to be a star. And I was looking at my hand, and I said, oh, I have one. And she looked at my hand and she goes, you have a very nice imagination, darling.
That's something, I was on the set with Sophia, so of course we were working. I was a soldier, and I was not allowed to go over and talk to Tab Hunter, Sophia Loren, or George Sanders, or Barbara Nichols, because they were the stars. So they, those days they told you can't go there.
They tell you that now too.
Well, I told them to go fuck themselves now, but back then I wanted to be in the business, so I ate shit for a while. But anyway, I'm a Brooklyn guy. I snuck over and I sat in George Sanders' seat because he wasn't shooting that day. And I started speaking Italian to her. And she loved me. She said, your Italian is as bad as my English. And I think you're carino. Carino is like sweet and nice. And one of the guys came over. They said, hey, soldier, beat it. You can't sit next to Sophia. And Sophia looked at him. She said, no, lascialo stare. Let him stay here. It's okay. And we became friendly. And I was 19 years old. I looked 10. She liked me like a little boy. And the fact that I was Italian and spoke Italian. And 3 days shoot. We shot Central Park and we shot Grand Central Station. And when the film was over, I went over to her and I said, grande piacere a conoscere. It's a wonderful pleasure to have known you, Sophia. I will remain your fan forever. And she said, vieni qui, come here. And she kissed me on my cheek. She said, Caro, dear. Well, I went home, forget about it. Everybody in my neighborhood, I said, screw all of you, don't ever touch the face.
Yeah.
Sophia Loren kissed me here. They said, hey, you're full of shit, you're not even in the movie. I said, oh, really? You don't think so? Wait till it comes out. Well, the movie came out and I stacked the theater with all my friends. Guess what? It's the opening of the movie with the titles running down. And you see Sophia and Barbara walk past me and me like a schmuck jumping up and down waving. But anyway, that's my Sophia story. I love her. She was a dear, sweet woman. And she was 26 years old at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is 1959. I was a
great
boy.
memory.
No, I actually I have a fan question for you because Dawn is like freaking out, loves you. She says, if you wanted anyone to watch one of your movies, what was the movie that you would want people to watch if they could only watch one?
Good question, Dawn.
Probably either. Well,
hard question.
Probably either Hall Pass or Legally Blonde. That represents me pretty well. Hall Pass represents who I am more than Legally Blonde. Legally Blonde was fun because the director just said, "Go for it. Let's have some fun with it." And,
I really liked that movie, and I remember your performance, and you were good. You're a good actor.
It was written to be just a hunky, like good-looking UPS guy, and the fact that Jennifer and Reese were crazy about me. But then when we got on the set, and I turned it around, and I said, "What if I'm the one that's smitten with her?" And the director said, "Let's try it. Go for it."
See, that's how I've talked to be earlier about working with the director. Now,
they love it.
You are a hunky, sexy guy. Now, if you were Italian, you'd be more hunky and sexier. Since you're German, we lost a few points. But,
So wait, I have a question, I
have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
What female star you worked with did you really ever have a crush on?
She's married. I can't really.
Well, that doesn't matter if she's having a crush doesn't mean it's happening. That's just a crush.
I had a little crush on Jenna Fisher in Hall Pass.
Oh yeah, she's cool.
But also going back to the soap world, it was weird.
Michelle, right?
Susan Lucci. I worked with Susan Lucci.
Oh, I hate her.
She was a wonderful human being, though.
No, she wasn't. She was.
Erica's not a very likable character.
No,
she
was my neighbor in Garden City when I lived there. She lived right up the hill from us. My daughter Deirdre and her daughter were schoolmates and friends. Susan Lucci was the most snobbiest
Okay, be
broad.
nice.
No, I'm talking about Susan Lucci. She snubbed the hell out of me in Garden City. She was very much the grande dame star. She would go food shopping and in a tight jumpsuit with spike heels and her nose in the air, and you'd say hello to her. She'd just walk right
But
by.
see, that's his crush.
Oh,
Well, she had to look. She had to be nice to me because she had to look in my eyes every day.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, but if you were going out with her, I'd say dump her and go back with the other one, with Adrian. No, Susan Lucci was a very affected woman. She was totally a star.
Another incredible human being, incredible woman. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I did enough dirt on her.
Was Christina Applegate. She's an
Oh my
absolutely
gosh.
wonderful, wonderful human being.
Sweetie pie.
You really have like had a phenomenal career. So go bucket list.
Well, wait a minute. I got to get down to nitty gritties
No.
here. When you worked with Adrian, what was that like? We haven't discussed.
She was in Halo.
Yeah, I know that.
She played a doctor in Halo, and so
You had scenes with her.
yeah, and she had to wear one of those tight little outfits as well, and she was incredible. She was a sweetheart. And we talked about The Great Escape, or Escape from New York. I'm saying should say.
Great movie.
Yeah, and
Yeah, it's great
she was appreciative of all of her.
I think she was married then. You were married, so you couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But now you're single. You should call.
So hold on. So I'll go back to me. So, I wanted to talk about Batman, but bucket list. Okay, so you've already worked with so many like great A-list people. So on a bucket list, if there's a male and female actor that you haven't worked with yet that you would like to have an opportunity to work with, who might they be? And then my other question that I like to ask is, if you could have ever been in any movie in history, what movie would you have liked to have been in?
Oh my God. Bucket list for me, as far as genres go, I've never done a Western, and so I'd really like to be. I think I'm getting to that age where I'd really be an effective, you know what I want to do? I want to remake Gunsmoke. I think I'd be a good Matt Dillon.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You would be a good Matt Dillon.
I like that. Okay, and who haven't you worked with that you would think that would be fun to work with, that you'd like to work with?
God, there's so many. I think, part of it is what's going through my head right now is I know so much about, I've heard so many stories about what kind of people they are as well. So you kind of have to, that bleeds into whether or not you want to work with them.
Right.
No prima donnas.
No, I happen to know George tangentially through Clooney, through some of his closest pals. So we're not texting buddies or by any means, but I happen to know him socially a little bit, or used to. He would be fun to work with just because he's so much fun and he's a good guy. And
he's a nice fella. He's a very nice man.
Yeah, that would be one. Diane Lane would be another one.
Love Diane Lane.
Now you're cooking.
Love Diane Lane.
That would have been my choice. I'm crazy about her. When I saw her in that movie when she shot it in Italy, I felt
Tuscany, Under the
Tuscan Sun. I fell madly in love with her. I thought her character was absolutely the most adorable, sweet, kind, loving. Have you ever seen the film?
No.
Oh, please.
Oh, you have to watch it. It's very good.
Under the Tuscan Sun. You will love it.
Yeah.
You absolutely love it.
I remember seeing, I know what it's about. I remember seeing
it's one of the most charming films that has ever been filmed. It's a lovely, lovely love story.
I'm so happy you picked Diane Lane, actually, because nobody's ever picked her.
And I love her.
Everybody always picks Meryl Streep, and we're like, can't you come up with something more original?
And you know what?
Yeah, no, I try to stay away from the cliched ones.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, how fantastic would that be?
Yeah, but wait a second.
But Diane Lane is awesome.
Let me tell you something. Diane Lane is just as good as her.
She is.
Diane Lane's been around since she's 14 years old. Remember, she made that movie with, what's his name? The English actor, the Shakespearean, Vivian Lee's husband. Gone through and Vivian Lee, her husband, Laurence Olivier. She made that movie with Laurence Olivier at 14 about she and a little French boy run away from home, and they meet Laurence Olivier, who's an older man, and he takes them all through Europe. And she was brilliant in that film.
She was wonderful in Unfaithful too.
Yes,
fabulous,
incredible.
I don't know how anybody
movie, but but she was so good on top of it. All those emotions.
I don't know how anybody could be unfaithful to Richard Gere, though. He's so hot.
Diane Lane just does not give bad work. I know if it's a Diane Lane film, I'm happy because the performance is going to be so good. She's so beautiful.
I guess she was
so sweet.
Was she in the? I guess she was in The Outsiders because somebody saying Angela Joseph said Cherry Valance in The Outsiders was her favorite. Which that's a great movie, The Outsiders. So wait, you said Gunsmoke. What about a movie? What's a cool movie that's ever been made in history that you think, oh my God, I would have loved to have been in it? And it can be like a current one, or it can be one like a lot of people pick, like stuff from Turner Classic Movies from back in the day. So it can be anything.
Oh God.
Do you have a favorite movie?
No, not really. No, I like so many different things for different reasons.
Me too.
What movie would I like to be in? Maybe the Alien movies. I don't know, something.
Yeah, that's fun.
Me too. I want to be in an Alien movie.
Ridley Scott. Anything that those guys do.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I'd love to be in an outer space movie or an extraterrestrial movie. I've never been. I played mafia mostly, gangsters, priests, cops. What else? Boring people. I would love to be an alien or something weird.
So let's go to Batman for a minute, because we got like a few more minutes. Let's go to Batman. So like you do all kinds of Batman stuff. You were in I know it says uncredited, but Birds of Prey, which was a great series.
Well, that's a mistake that I have yet to get off my resume. That some people, they question me about that all the time, but that wasn't me in Birds of Prey. So.
Oh,
I think that came immediately following all those commercials I did, and it was. I was in Wikipedia with those things, and I think there was an assumption made that was just not correct.
Okay, well, how did you get? Are you a Batman fan? First of all, like I'm a Batman.
Oh
fan.
yeah, totally.
I have tons of Batmans in my office.
Oh yeah, huge Batman. Of all the superheroes, Batman was always the one closest to me, because I've always been drawn to the darker. Part of being human. I
love that too, and we actually had Antonio Sabato Jr. on the show, and like he collects like everything Batman. He has a room of all Batman.
Wait a minute, I have to say something about Antonio. Everyone, stop crucifying him. Okay, so he's a Republican. So what are you going to do about it?
He's a nice guy.
He has a right to be a Republican.
Absolutely.
He's an American, and in America we have choice.
Yep.
Stop crucifying him because he stands up for Trump.
He's like the nicest guy.
He is a lovely, wonderful, kind, sweet, dear man, and I really like him.
And you should see his Batman
you.
collection. You should see his Batman collection.
No, they're really crucifying him. You got to see what they're doing.
It's terrible. Anyway, so how did you get how did you get cast as like in all these like Batman things? Because you're in like video games and animated series. I think you're Commissioner Gordon, I think, in one of them, right?
3 of them. I've done Gordon 3 times now. Batman Hush was the last one. We went to Comic-Con with it last year. I had a blast.
I definitely know who you are. Lose the beard. I don't like the beard on you.
He doesn't have a beard.
I don't have a beard.
It's my.
When's your surgery?
Tomorrow morning.
At 6:30 in the morning. See, I think he's got a white beard on his chin. See, I don't see.
Oh no, and he doesn't.
No. I'm sorry.
He looks like a supermodel.
I could see his features are good looking. I could see the face, but he.
Wait. When you were in Models Inc., were you like a model, or were you dating one of the models? What did you do in your episode in Models Inc.?
That was so long ago, I don't even remember the character.
Oh, honestly. Okay. Did you do any modeling when you were younger, though? Because you look like you could.
I did for a split second, and I hated every second of it. I hated modeling because there was nothing to do. It was just I stood there and I felt so self-conscious, and I felt like an idiot. They were just pointing the cameras at me, and I had nothing to do except sit there and try to look pretty, and that's really embarrassing.
It is.
So I hated it. I walked away from it after 6 months, and I just said, I have to do something where I'm active.
I did a layout for Sears and Roebuck when I was 17. And I swear to you, the guy kept pinning the crotch of my pants for 2 hours. And I was very upset and annoyed with that. And I didn't like the idea that they thought that because I was a beautiful young boy, that they could assault me or whatever me. And I quit because most young fellas say yes.
Yeah.
I didn't because I was a boy and I didn't understand all that shit yet. I hadn't met Jimmy, so I was straight. See, I'm straight. Jimmy's gay.
Yeah, I'm
my husband. I'm straight, but my husband's gay.
I like that. Wait. Go back to the Batman thing, though. So, how did you actually get involved in all the Batman stuff?
There's a wonderful voice director who's retired now called Andrea Romano, who was just the most beautiful human being in that side of show business. And I did my first film with her. I've done a dozen of these straight to video kind of cartoon animated superhero Marvel thing, not Marvel, but DC Comics. So I did the first one, was Green Lantern, and I played Atrocitus. I played this really nasty man, one of those guys. And so then about, I don't know, a year later, I emailed her out of the blue and I said, hey, what's going on? And she said, oh, I was just thinking about you. You want to come in and play again? And so after the second thing happened, she brought me in to play another. I ended up playing a bunch of villains, to answer your question.
Okay.
And then eventually I got back to playing Commissioner Gordon. But after that second time she brought me in, then it just became a regular thing. And I never had to audition for her. She just booked me on stuff. It was really cool.
That was very cool. What's your Commissioner Gordon voice?
Yeah.
Well, he's in Batman Hush. Well, Gordon was pretty much like this. He's very close to Batman. He's in this one. It's hard to tell between myself and Jason O'Mara sometimes. We play them very similarly. I'm Commissioner Gordon, but I'm very stoic. And Batman, you can't do that. No, Batman. It's Catwoman.
I love doing different voices. Watch this. When my hair's pulled back, I look like a guinea killer. Now listen to this. I says to her the other day, "What are you doing over there? Get over here."
He plays the guinea all the time.
I always play that Brooklyn wise guy, killer guy. I just killed somebody in another movie a couple of weeks ago. It's amazing how they really never get me out of character. When I was young, I did a lot of television.
If you're good, you're good. You end up doing the same thing over and over because you're good.
Yeah, I know, but you get typecast. You become a hood.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
When I was younger, I did a lot of TV. I did Macmillan. I did Ain't Charlie's. I did all of them, and I always wanted to play a romantic lead kind of guy that got involved with a romance. Never. In Charlie's Angels, I was what was I? A pimp.
Hang on, wait.
I was a pimp, I think.
I want to go back to him. So you want to be in a Western? I've never seen it before. Do you watch that Kevin Costner show, that new one?
Oh no.
Is that a Western?
Okay. You just reminded me I have to see it because I have
I want to see it too. I was thinking though, like
Dave Annabelle is on it and he's a buddy of mine, so I have to.
I heard it's really good.
And I think it's a Western. I mean, they're in cowboy outfits. You should tell your agent to pitch.
It's a modern day Western. Yeah.
You should get pitched to that one and see. So like when you were in 13 Days, did you actually have any scenes with Kevin? That's one thing I've never seen that movie.
I only had scenes with Costner. It was that was a very small part. It was just playing a doorman who Costner's character, O'Donnell, real life character, came in and out of the White House every day, and he always saw me at the door. I was always the security guard at the White House who let him in and out. So it was just very brief scenes. The reason I got into that film was Roger Donaldson, the director, is a friend of mine socially. So he snuck me in there for that, and I got to work with Kevin a little bit.
How cool is that?
How is he to work with?
Is he nice?
I heard he's a little cool.
He's good looking.
No, cool, sort of standoffish. I heard that he doesn't socialize much on the set.
That's why I answered the way I did. He's good looking.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly. Because no, I have a friend of mine that worked with him, and in fact, he was.
And we love him, by the way.
He was on our show, so
he's a great artist. Yes,
I'm not saying anything that wasn't said because the actor was on our show. We interviewed him, and I asked him what was Kevin Costner like, and he said, "Stay away from him. You know, let him. He does his lines and he leaves. He's not social."
Yeah,
but he is a great talent. We love him.
Yeah,
and he's a good-looking old man. You know, for an old man, he looks good still. Yeah. Which is important in our business.
Absolutely. So hold on. So we're going to do some more press.
I want to
here.
ask him one more question. Okay. And this is an honest answer I need. If they gave you a starring role in a weekly TV series, would you accept it?
Yes.
You would?
Without reservation, yes.
Oh, I get tired. I couldn't. I would never.
Oh yeah. No, I'm looking for something.
That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. Yeah. But,
holy shit! You have no life, Bruce.
But now that I don't have a life right now, so I'm looking to get my mind preoccupied again. So something like that would be perfect.
As soon as you get better and you go out with Adrian, you'll have a life again. Because she's a very nice gal that likes to have fun, and she's a good cook, and she's a homebody, and she's a sweetie pie. So just be her friend. You know, you don't have to.
Actually, they want to see you as a gnarly cowboy too.
Yeah.
So we got to try and get you in as a gnarly cowboy and into a
good... producers in the comments section there? Any producers?
No, but I know a whole bunch, so I'll remember that.
You know what? I'm 68 years in the business. I know everybody, the dead ones as well. I mean, no, seriously, everyone. Jane Russell was my best friend for years. For 20 years, we were brother and sister. In fact, I took her name. And she's gone. Blackwell's gone. Debbie Reynolds is gone. Joan Rivers. I could go through the whole list of all of my old bag friends. I'm one of the surviving people. Julie Newmar, and Julie Newmar is older than I, and Terry Moore and Nancy Kwan are the only people left from my gang of old bags. Imagine, and we were quite a group years ago. What a wild group we were. Woo!
I bet.
I
I've got 26 different projects that I'm in different stages of development and producing. And when I get money for some of them, one of them's an actual TV series that could. I don't have any Westerns though, but if anything comes my way, I'll remember you.
Well, I did a film called Interference that's on Amazon Prime right now. I think Dawn saw it. I saw.
Yeah, Dawn saw it because she said Interference and The Babysitter one are the two that she picked out.
That I think I played a guy named Wolf, and I really like that character. He's super dark. He's like he was about to he's one of those classic film noirs where he's about to retire. He's got one last case. It ends up involving some of his family, and I could see that guy doing almost like a Columbo kind of series.
See, that would be fun. Stop that, Astro. Shop.
Astro. That's our dog. Do you have dogs?
I had 2 dogs, yeah.
Yeah, we have 3 rescues. Once the little one starts, the rest of them start barking. Astro, stop it.
He's 7 pounds of terror. Astro, come here. Astro.
So anyway, hold on. So because we've got another guest that's going to come on now. So what
you're great. Let me tell you something. I'm pushy because I'm from Brooklyn. I'm allowed. You're Woodland Hills. One day, you and Adrian and Jimmy and I will have lunch. Stop with the laughing. It's going to be. I'm a witch. I know. I'm a warlock. I know what's going to be. We're going to have lunch together. My treat at the deli on Ventura Boulevard. I love that deli.
Don told me to thank you also for following her back on Instagram. We wish you all the luck. You guys follow him on Instagram. He's Mr. Bruce Thomas on Twitter. He's real Bruce Thomas. If anything comes my way, I'll get in touch with you and let you know, because anytime
I need some followers on Instagram. I'm horrible at trying to get them.
Yeah, you guys. So follow him on Instagram.
And everybody out there, this guy is the real deal. No phony, no Hollywood bullshit. He's a regular Joe. So follow his career and support him, because
thank you guys.
No, it's true. You're a good guy. If you were a jerk, I would just say thank you for coming on our show. Fuck you. Like screw you. Anyway.
So Bruce, thank you so much for coming on the show. Everybody enjoyed it. If anything we can ever do for you, if you've got anything you want to promote, just let me know and we'll bring you back. All right.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Bye.
Nice guy.
Absolutely. What a great guy.
I enjoyed this interview a lot.